Okay, greetings, Quentin UCC. We're back with our final series on fitness. Today, two friends of the congregation, many of you know them, Drew and Devon Gingrich, are going to do a little segment on some basic yoga. Okay, so this will be the final one. And our hope is that you use these 3 videos within your week. If you do, the first one twice, the strength one twice, if you do the yoga once or twice a week, you will be a well-rounded, fit person. Don't forget to get outside and do your walking or biking or jogging or whatever else cardiovascularly you do. So we're going to keep our social distance here, but welcome Drew and Devon Gingrich. Here they come.
All right, we're excited.
Hey everyone, so I'm Devon and this is Drew, and we're going to lead you through just a pretty basic yoga series today. Just so everyone knows, I've probably been practicing yoga pretty regularly for the past 1.5 years, and Drew's probably a bit longer than that. So while we're not teachers, we're just going to go through what we know, and certainly we're going to show you some different modifications throughout. But what we want you to take away is that yoga is really a moment to focus on your breathing and really connect your breath to movement. And so that's what we're going to take you through today. So let's actually,
I must say, Drew and Devon are married, so their social distance really doesn't matter so much. Drew teaches at the middle school, and Devon is a psychology
intern,
almost a doctor at the VA.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go.
All right, so let's actually start with, let's in a seated position, and you can be seated cross-legged, or maybe if this is more comfortable for you, or even if you prefer to just start sitting in a chair, whatever is most comfortable to you. So we're going to just start with a focus on our breathing. So if you'd like to put one hand on your chest and maybe the other on your stomach, and just start to notice your breathing, and we're going to try to do some breathing where we're doing like a 4-count breath in and out. So if you want to do that with me now. You actually want to make sure that when you're doing the breathing that we have you put one hand on your chest and one on your belly, because you really actually want your belly to be the one moving. So that will be what we would consider diaphragmatic breathing. And often in the day-to-day life, the craziness of life, we're often taking pretty short, shallow breaths. So this is a great way for us to just start focusing on taking some longer, deeper breaths using our diaphragm.
I'm going to try and keep them equal too.
That's right, honey. He's going to add some things in here and there, so thank you for that.
Of course.
Just a couple more. All right, and now what we're going to do is we're going to move into child's pose, and this is actually a great way. I'm just going to go into the position while I continue to talk about it. This is a great way if you're feeling like at any time during the practice it's too much for you. This is a great way for you to just connect with your breath again. And so we're going to start here in child's pose, just doing some stretching and continuing to connect with the breath. Now your hands can be relaxed on the floor, or you can push your fingers into the mat and have your arms raised a bit. So whatever feels most comfortable to you. All right, take one more inhale and exhale with me. And after that exhale, let's come up on all fours. So we want to have our hands over our shoulders and just on our hands and our knees. And we're going to actually go through some cat-cows now. So we're going to, the first one is we're gonna lift up like this, and then we're gonna push the floor away and exhale. Inhale and exhale.
And you can do it at pace with your own breath.
We're going to do one more. Now we're going to actually push back into our first downward dog. This, since it's our first of the practice, you want to stretch your legs, maybe pedal your feet, whatever feels good for you. And when you, after you pedal your feet or move around in any direction, find stillness. Whenever you're ready, take your time. And remember that breath. All right, so we are actually going to walk our hands to the front of our mat, or you could simply just stand up. And we're going to just stay here for a moment, just in this basic stretch. And if it feels good for you, maybe you can grab your hands into what we would call ragdoll, sway back and forth. That feels good to you. Just a moment to stretch. This might feel really nice in the back of your legs or your lower back. Another thing that we can do is nod our head, yes and no. Just stretch out our neck. I don't know about you, but I've been sitting at a computer a lot, so this feels really nice. All right, now we're going to slowly roll up one vertebrae at a time. We can just stand here with our hands together. Just take a moment to reconnect to that breath, because it can be really hard to get distracted and not remember to focus on that breathing piece. All right, so we're going to reach our hands up into mountain pose. We're going to take our right hand, grab our left, and stretch over to the one side. You might feel this in your, right about here, you'll feel that nice stretch. All right, and then we're going to switch over. So we're going to take our left hand and grab our right wrist. Stretch over to the other side, and I should note that it doesn't matter which order you do this as long as you do both of them. We want to come back up to mountain pose. Then we want to take our left hand and put it here on the right side of our face, and just be careful not to put too much pressure, but just stretch out this side. We want to come back up to center and then do it on the other side. All right, we want to reach back up, maybe do a cactus pose, maybe just a small back bend, whatever feels good. All right. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do a vinyasa flow. And so Drew and I are going to show you some different ways that you can do this. Certainly feel free to do whatever feels best for you. And if it doesn't feel good, just simply go into child's pose with us. That's always an option. So we're going to reach up, go through center. Now we lift up a little bit. And then we're going to so you can go into a plank pose, and I'm going to show you the modification while Drew's going to do the chaturanga. So you can do what he's doing and lift up that way, or you can simply Do it from your knees. And lift up, and then find your way back to downward dog. Again, if anything, any movement feels good, feel free to do that. Take a deep breath in and out. One more together. And we're going to go through a little flow on each side of the body. So what we do on the right side, we will then do on the left. So we're going to lift our right leg up. We are going to bring it through, step it forward. And the first pose that we're going to come into is
breathe in.
Yeah. And do this pose, which I forget what it's called. So we're going to just stay here and take a couple of deep breaths.
And if you need to, this would be a moment too where you could go down to a knee.
Absolutely. Then we're going to come into warrior two when we're ready. And that's with, so we're going to be mindful that this front leg, we don't want our knee to be over our foot, but we want it to be aligned with our ankle and our foot. And then this back leg is twisted to the side. So this is just a nice position that we can hold if we feel like we like how it feels, or we can just simply, lift up a little bit if it feels like it's too much pressure. So this is warrior two. And then we're going to go into reverse warrior.
You're not coming out of your lunge then, so you stay in the lunge too.
And we're going to go into triangle pose. So this is something, if you had a block or something that you could put your hand on, you want this leg to be almost straight, but just a little bent in the knee. Never want to completely straighten your leg. But just stretch here and be mindful of, you want your hand, you see how Drew's is in alignment right there? That's what you want to be doing. All right, and when you're ready, we'll come out of that and we'll put our hands here and step back, and then we'll go through another chaturanga series. So again, if you need to modify, you can do this.
And when you go down is when you want to breathe out. So you would, because yoga is all about the breathing. So when you would, as you're going down towards your mat, you would breathe out. And then breathe in. And then breathe out.
And take this time to reconnect with your breath. And remember, this takes time and practice. So the first time you do this, you might be more focused on the movement, but know that in time, it will become easier to connect movement and breath together. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. So after you've taken a couple of deep breaths, you're going to lift your left leg up. You're going to step that through. We're going to come back into this position.
And then if you just want to stay in a runner's lunge.
Or if you want to put that knee down, if that feels better for you, you have a lot of different options. Then we're going to go back onto warrior two on the other side.
What I always try and do is make sure that this heel lines up with my back heel. So it's a moment where Devon's kind of getting into her position a while, but I'll make sure I'm kind of aligned before I step into my position.
We want to do reverse warrior. We want to go back into triangle. Then when you're ready, we want to come forward again. We're going to go back through that vinyasa flow once more with the chaturanga. Again, I'll show you how to do it modified.
Breathe out. Breathe in.
All right. And now we're going to come to a seated position. When you're ready, there's a number of ways that you could get there. You could simply put your knees on the ground and then swing your legs around. You could come to a seated position like that. You could also go back to sitting in a chair. That would be comfortable to you. But what we're going to do first is a bridge, or not a bridge pose, a boat pose.
Boat pose.
All right, so boat pose. So this is a great exercise for your core. Your feet can be here. If it's too much, you can lower them. Maybe just lift one leg up.
Support yourself with your hands, maybe.
Yeah. If you really want to challenge, maybe you can put your legs the whole way out. Although I can't even do that.
Yeah.
So whatever feels best for you. We're gonna hold this just for a couple more seconds. And we're gonna put our feet down. All right. And feel free, this is even something that you can do when you're, just throughout the day. You could just do a quick little boat pose, and that would be a great exercise for your core. What we can do now is put our legs out in front of us. We're just gonna do just a stretch here. So, be careful that you're not rounding your shoulders. Certainly, I remember when I first started doing these, I could barely touch my toes, if that. But certainly time has allowed me to become more flexible. So staying here for another couple of moments. Again, reconnecting to that breath if you lost it. All right, and we can come into a butterfly pose. So if this doesn't look like it would be comfortable for you, feel free to stay in the pose we were just in, but this is just another.
Extend out further too with your feet.
Yeah, whatever feels best. Just a nice stretch.
I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but Devin and I are at different points in our breathing too. So it's all about your own breathing. So it's whatever pace you have for yourself. So you want to try to keep it equal parts though. So instead of like a breathe in, breathe out, you'd want to try and make them about the same length of time.
All right, so we're just going to do a couple more stretches before we're getting closer to the end of the practice. I think one thing that's really nice is if we let's start with our left leg out, and we can either keep our right leg like this, or maybe if it feels good for you, you can cross it over, and then with your arms, you could certainly just hold your knee here, or maybe you could. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So you could do what Drew's doing, you can do what I'm doing, whatever feels best. Just want to get some nice stretching in. All right, and then let's switch to the other side. So again, you could be here, you could be here. You can switch. Cross it over like Drew is. Whatever feels best. All right, so I think that we can take them through a bridge.
Mm-hmm.
So the next thing that we're going to do is a bridge pose, and there are so many different ways that you can do this. So what you want to do is lay back like Drew's doing, and we are going to lift into bridge pose So your hands are just by your side, your knees are bent, and we're just gonna lift up to bridge pose, and this is just a nice stretch. And depending on how flexible you are, you could lift your shoulders up like this, if that serves you. If you wanted to get a little crazy, you could maybe lift one leg in the air at a time.
We always have our yoga teacher, she'll say one leg, the other leg, both.
So whatever feels best for you, whatever variety. I guess whatever variation feels best for you. All right, and we will let that down slowly, as slow as you can. And it feels nice to feel your back into the floor, making sure that your lower back is pressed in. Yeah, maybe that would be something that feels good.
Up up and down your spine.
And then when you're ready, we'll go into waterfall pose. And that will be our last pose of the practice before we go into Shavasana. And the nice thing about waterfall is it's a great inversion. And that's really nice at the end of your practice. So just something to get all that blood flowing to the center of your body. There's certainly a lot of different variations for inversions, although this is probably the simplest one and one of my favorites. Just a couple more breaths here. And then when you're ready, just slowly let your feet fall to the ground.
Which is a core exercise too.
And we're going to come into Shavasana now. And this is the part of the practice where we actually let go of focusing on our breathing. And we come into this moment of stillness. So if we want to take just one breath in together and then one breath out, we can let go of our breathing. So and so we want to just find stillness. And if you feel like you have good energy, you can lift your palms up here. If you feel like you need a bit more grounding in your practice, you can keep your palms face down and just find this moment of stillness. Now this is a moment in which, while you're watching this video, if you have more time, I would encourage you to pause and just spend a couple of more minutes in Shavasana, because this is certainly the most important part of the practice. It's the most restorative aspect. But for timing purposes today, we will come out of it at this point.
Do that often by you'll wiggle your toes or your fingers first.
Mm-hmm. So the first thing that you want to do, like Drew said, is just slowly start to wiggle your toes and your fingers, and just find a little bit of movement after that moment of stillness. And then when you're ready, you can roll over on your right side. And think about, certainly this is a moment where our yoga teacher always encourages us to think about something that we're grateful for, something that we have gratitude for this morning. And we can think of that while we're here in this position. And then when you are ready, you can push yourself up again to a seated position. You could be sitting like Drew, or I'm going to take another variation this morning. So we're going to end our practice. We can put our palms together here and send that thing that we're grateful for up if we haven't already. Just send that out into the earth, to the world. We're going to end our practice together, and something my yoga teacher always shares with us is, may you be healthy, may you be happy, and may you live in peace. Namaste. Thank
This
you.
is a great time to do even like if you have like a devotion or if you have a mindfulness exercise, this is a great time to do that too.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us today in this short practice, and we certainly hope that you all continue to stay healthy during this time.
All right. Thanks, you guys. Bye.
Bye.